Maryland Terrapins up and down this year. Look, 6 weeks ago, I don't think a lot of people would have predicted the Terps in the NCAA tournament in the field of 68, but here we are. What do you think about this Terps team? Look, they beat a Purdue, they beat an Illinois, but they lose two down the stretch of the regular season in Northwestern and Penn State. What do you think about the Terps and this matchup against UConn?
Well, I think it's a favorable matchup for Maryland. UConn's very good. They've got a great scorer in James Bouknight, and that's really going to be the issue. If you can slow down James Bouknight, I think you've got a great chance to win. And having Daryl Morcell guard him, that's what I would anticipate is going to happen. The Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year guarding Bouknight, I tend to favor as a 10 seed, favor Maryland there.
Mark Turgeon, do you think he has done maybe his best coaching job? You can say what you want about, his critics are going to talk about his recruiting and how the roster is kind of flawed this year. But from a coaching standpoint, do you think he did his best coaching job this year?
I don't really know. I don't know how to evaluate a coaching job, versus winning the Big Ten or, advancing farther in the tournament. I know Mark is, I played against Mark in college. I've known him a long time. I know him to be a great coach, and I think he's done an extraordinary job at Maryland. But I wouldn't know exactly where to rank this job. They don't have, Maryland doesn't have the same kind of rim protection they had the last couple of years. So I think to do what they've done in a different fashion and be as gritty a defensive team as they've been, I think is a real testament to the values of the program.
And you look at their bracket now, if they can get past UConn, they potentially have Alabama in the next round. And a lot of people, including myself, have Alabama in the Final Four. What do you think about the Terps' chances at making some kind of a run here?
Well, I mean, I think their chances are as good as any double-digit seed. I think what goes in Maryland's favor is they've played a gauntlet of schedule. So for Maryland to have gone through the Big Ten, I think there are a number of Big Ten teams that have to feel pretty good about getting out of Big Ten play. That you can play really well in the Big Ten and lose in a particular game. So I think getting some new blood a little bit and getting to see an opponent that doesn't know you quite as well as your Big Ten rivals, I think that will help Maryland. It'll help Wisconsin. It'll help Michigan State, and it'll help Rutgers. All those teams had, people call it up and down, but they had times where they played well and played against a team that was, ranked in the top five. And look at all the Big Ten teams that are 1 and 2 seeds. That's pretty extraordinary. So the teams below that are better than some people think.
Final one for you. When you look at the bracket and this tournament as a whole, are you one of many people who think, just from the standpoint of how unique this season was, we might get a lot of upsets, we might have a different kind of tournament? Or are you on the side of the Power Fives or the chalk maybe have an advantage of advancing in this year's tournament?
Well, I think you could see both. I think you could see the top seeds, the 1s and the 2s, do very well, and then have a lot of volatility in the remainder of the field. What usually happens, as you know, is the first weekend is a roller coaster ride. And so you're bouncing from region to region, watching and enjoying it, and you see these upsets. But things tend to stabilize in the second weekend. And usually that's when the big shots step forward. We don't, you get every once in a while, you'll get an 11 seed like Loyola Chicago that gets to the Final Four. They don't tend to get beyond that and cut nets down. Oftentimes it's 1s and 2s that do that. You have an occasional 3 or 4 or something that breaks through, but usually it's the better teams that survive this thing. But teams get picked off here and there, and that's one of the things that's most enjoyable about the tournament is that it's not always about the best team; it's about who plays the best in that particular game.
ESPN's Jay Bilas. Jay, thanks so much for taking the time. Enjoy the NCAA tournament.
You too. Thank you.